What will you do to improve your English fluency?
I will practice speaking English every day for at least 1 hour.
How can you speak English more naturally?
I can listen to native speakers and copy their pronunciation and tone.
When will you start your 30-day English challenge?
I will start my 30-day English challenge from tomorrow morning.
Why do you want to speak English fluently?
I want to speak English fluently to build confidence and get better job opportunities.
Where do you practice speaking English daily?
I practice speaking English in front of the mirror and with my friends.
What does he do to learn English quickly?
He watches English movies with subtitles every night.
How does he improve his pronunciation?
He listens carefully to English podcasts and repeats after the speakers.
When does she practice English speaking?
She practices English every evening after finishing her work.
Why does she record her voice while speaking?
She records her voice to find and correct her pronunciation mistakes.
Where does she find new English words to learn?
She finds new English words from books and mobile apps.
What do they do to stay motivated while learning English?
They set small goals and reward themselves for each achievement.
How do they correct their grammar mistakes?
They use grammar checking tools and ask their teacher for feedback.
When do they review their daily English lessons?
They review their lessons before going to bed every night.
Why do they join English conversation groups?
They join conversation groups to speak with others and gain confidence.
Where do they find English-speaking partners?
They find partners online through language learning communities.
What does it take to become fluent in English?
It takes regular practice, patience, and the right learning strategy.
How does it help to listen to English songs?
It helps improve listening skills and pronunciation naturally.
When does it become easier to speak English confidently?
It becomes easier when you practice speaking without fear every day.
Why does it take time to speak English fluently?
It takes time because you need to build vocabulary and confidence gradually.
Where can it be easier to practice English conversation?
It can be easier to practice in online speaking clubs or with friends.
What does Ali do to improve his English?
Ali reads English newspapers and speaks with his classmates daily.
How does Ali memorize new vocabulary?
He writes new words in a notebook and reviews them daily.
When does Ali practice English listening?
He practices listening while traveling to work or school.
Why does Ali speak English with his teacher?
He speaks with his teacher to gain fluency and correct mistakes.
Where does Ali learn new English phrases?
He learns new phrases from YouTube videos and English apps.
What does Sarah do to improve her accent?
Sarah listens to American speakers and imitates their pronunciation.
How does Sarah increase her speaking speed?
She practices tongue twisters and reads aloud daily.
When does Sarah check her English progress?
She checks her progress every week by recording her speech.
Why does Sarah prefer watching English interviews?
She prefers interviews to learn real-life conversations.
Where does Sarah note down useful phrases?
She notes them in her English learning diary.
What do students do to practice English speaking daily?
Students practice speaking in pairs during their English sessions.
How do students learn sentence structure?
They practice forming new sentences with different tenses daily.
When do students practice pronunciation?
They practice pronunciation during morning reading sessions.
Why do students join online English classes?
They join classes to improve fluency with guided practice.
Where do students find free English lessons?
They find free English lessons on YouTube and learning websites.
What does this 30-day plan include?
This plan includes daily speaking tasks, vocabulary lists, and listening practice.
How does this 30-day program help beginners?
It helps beginners start speaking with confidence and correct grammar.
When does this program show visible results?
It shows results after consistent practice for 2 to 3 weeks.
Why does this plan focus on speaking daily?
It focuses on speaking daily because fluency comes from daily practice.
Where can this plan be used effectively?
It can be used at home, in class, or even during free time.
What do teachers do to help students speak better?
Teachers correct pronunciation, grammar, and sentence formation during practice.
How do teachers motivate learners to continue?
They encourage students with positive feedback and fun activities.
When do teachers assign speaking exercises?
They assign speaking exercises every day after the main lesson.
Why do teachers emphasize vocabulary building?
They emphasize vocabulary because it helps express thoughts clearly.
Where do teachers get lesson materials from?
They get materials from textbooks, videos, and online sources.
What does practice mean in English learning?
Practice means speaking, listening, and repeating English daily.
How does practice improve fluency?
It helps your mind and tongue get used to English sounds.
When does practice become enjoyable?
It becomes enjoyable when you start understanding and speaking easily.
Why does practice need consistency?
Because without consistency, progress becomes slow and uncertain.
Where can practice be done daily?
It can be done at home, work, or even while walking.
What does a learner need to stay confident?
A learner needs encouragement, self-belief, and regular speaking time.
How does a learner overcome shyness?
They start speaking with close friends and move to larger groups.
When does a learner feel real improvement?
They feel improvement when others start understanding them easily.
Why does a learner make mistakes while speaking?
Because mistakes are a part of learning and help improve faster.
Where does a learner use English outside the classroom?
They use it at work, on social media, or while traveling.
What does a beginner focus on first?
A beginner focuses on basic words, greetings, and short sentences.
How does a beginner build confidence?
By speaking daily and not worrying about making mistakes.
When does a beginner start using complex sentences?
After understanding basic grammar and vocabulary.
Why does a beginner listen to English stories?
To learn natural speaking patterns and sentence flow.
Where does a beginner find practice material?
They find it on YouTube, mobile apps, and English websites.
What do professionals do to improve English?
They attend business English workshops and speak during meetings.
How do professionals sound more confident?
They prepare sentences in advance and maintain eye contact.
When do professionals use English most?
They use it during presentations and client discussions.
Why do professionals focus on accent training?
To sound clear and professional in global communication.
Where do professionals get speaking feedback?
They get it from mentors, teachers, or language partners.
What does reading aloud help with?
Reading aloud helps improve pronunciation and rhythm.
How does reading aloud increase fluency?
It trains the mouth to form English sounds smoothly.
When does reading aloud show progress?
After a few weeks of regular daily reading.
Why does reading aloud matter for beginners?
It helps them build speaking confidence and clarity.
Where can reading aloud be practiced daily?
It can be practiced anywhere: home, park, or office.
What do English learners do in free time?
They watch English videos and practice conversations.
How do English learners improve listening skills?
They listen to English news and repeat difficult phrases.
When do English learners revise their lessons?
They revise lessons every weekend to remember words.
Why do English learners make a study plan?
To track progress and stay disciplined during 30 days.
Where do English learners record their voice?
They record it on their phone to compare daily progress.
What does continuous learning mean?
It means never stopping practice even after fluency.
How does continuous learning help growth?
It keeps your speaking fresh and vocabulary updated.
When does continuous learning become a habit?
It becomes a habit after 30 days of daily effort.
Why does continuous learning matter for fluency?
Because fluency fades if you stop practicing.
Where does continuous learning take place easily?
It takes place through daily conversations with people.
What does motivation do during the 30 days?
Motivation keeps you focused and helps you overcome challenges.
How does motivation grow stronger?
By seeing improvement and celebrating small wins.
When does motivation drop?
It drops when you skip practice or compare yourself to others.
Why does motivation need support?
Because encouragement from friends helps you stay on track.
Where does motivation come from?
It comes from your goal to speak English fluently.
What do confident speakers do daily?
They speak English with everyone around them.
How do confident speakers handle mistakes?
They laugh at them and learn from each one.
When do confident speakers practice pronunciation?
They practice every morning before starting their day.
Why do confident speakers use new words often?
To expand their vocabulary and sound more natural.
Where do confident speakers learn expressions?
They learn expressions from conversations and real-life situations.
What does success in English learning mean?
Success means speaking clearly, confidently, and without hesitation.
How does success motivate others?
It inspires others to start their own learning journey.